How we doing, guys? Everybody fired up? Gotten over that box lunch like you were on the C-130 earlier today? Hey, it's good to see a lot of old teammates out there, friends and associates. For those I don't know, I'm Hondo, spent my end kind of on the buying side of this equation, and it's kind of my pleasure now to kind of get us thinking. We had some great policy discussions, some contextual discussions now. Now I'd like us to start pivoting our thought to how do we actually do something? And how do we actually get some of the technology available into the field faster and more effective? And with that, we've got some panels coming up. You're going to hear Mike Brazier talk about Task Force 59. You're going to hear a number of other folks thinking about that. But I think one of our challenges as a community is we've gotten pretty good at the discovery phase, right? Our issue isn't discovering things. So we're kind of doing pretty well at that. Always could improve. But we are woefully underperforming in the deployment phase. And we are not effectively figuring out how to get this technology, these capabilities, into the field at the speed of relevance. And I'm hopeful with a group like this here, we can really start thinking about practical ways to get after that. We're going to have former Secretary of Defense Esper coming in later. He ran a commission with the Atlantic Council, really focused on this tech adoption issue, right? And some of the writers are here in the audience, really trying to get after that. So what I would ask us all here to think about, right, is transforming our thinking from what I would call World War II industrial age thinking, right? Come up with a set of requirements, build some awesome blueprints, build a prototype, get the prototype right, hand the blueprints to the production floor, produce a ton of them, and then maybe do a block upgrade. And that, we're still gonna have to do some of that, but we've got to shift as a customer side on DoD from thinking about being the exporter to being the fast importer. And then collectively here, whether you're from industry, startup, traditional, prime, we've all got to focus on speed to field. And that's got to be our ultimate measure of performance. Because again, we can discover everything in the field, everything we can, but if we're not getting that capability downrange, it's kind of interesting but irrelevant. One model I think that I like to think about, having done this for General Thomas at SOCOM and another thing, right? So we've got to close down distance, and we've got to move from transactional kind of serial processes to a much more of a network approach. And the way I think about that, right, is we've got to collectively vision the futures, right? And I think we've had some good talk today. That's why getting everybody together is really useful. Like, what is in the possible futures? And again, I don't say future, I say futures, because there's probably multiple potential. And then we've got to together build scalable platforms, right? Because we won't guess right on the future. We just don't want to be really wrong, and we want to be able to pivot really quickly. Right? And then the last piece is we've just got to get bold about putting things into field fast, right? Taking products wherever they come from, and then putting them in the hands of our folks downrange, if we're going to get at the agility we need to succeed here. My last thing I would ask you to think hard about, we talk a lot about AI from searching or intelligence speed. Capability for national security is a combination of a couple things. We tend to focus on the equipment piece maybe a little too much, right? But capability is really equipment, training, and tactics. And if the folks out here could help us figure out how to train faster, how to adapt faster tactics, how to be much more agile than the adversary, and not just think about the new gadget, then I think together we can really kind of get moving at what I would call network pace. So again, you're getting some great speakers coming up here. I'll be around for a while. It's my pleasure to be here with you, and thanks again for all you're doing to help us. My last kind of get off the stage thing is, and maybe a General Thomasism of SOCOM, right? Don't measure your value by proximity to the final objective. What everybody's doing out here is really, really important. And yeah, we should think a lot about our end customer, but don't doubt every day what you're doing here to help us help the country get back to agile. Staying on top and being safe is really important. For that, I thank you very much.